It's the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia, with your host, Bob Snap.
Hi guys, welcome to the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia. Thank you for being here. Today's video is on how Helen Crump got a really ugly name, really bad name. Why would they give her such a name, Crump? You're about to find out. Andy discovers America was purportedly the favorite Andy Griffith Show episode of former President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now, while I cannot confirm that, it makes sense. The episode does center around Opie learning American history. Then again, Ike might have just been a romantic softy at heart. After all, this is an episode that introduced Sheriff Andy's future bride, Helen Crump, as played by Anita Corso. Up to this point, we had seen the single father date women named Ellie, Mary, Peggy. There was a Karen in there too, Mary number 2 and Karen number 4, and two of the most popular names for American girls at the time. Helen, meanwhile, had dropped from being the number 10 name in the 1930s to number 136 in 1960. But really, we should be focusing on her last name, Crump. It was meant to sound like a wad of mud hitting pavement, a hybrid of clump and grump, perhaps. Indeed, the surname Crump was given to the character as an intended joke. When I first heard of her, as Opie complains about his new teacher at the kitchen table, she's referred to as Old Lady Crump. The name needed to sound like a spinster. That way, when Andy finally met her face-to-face midway through the episode, the surprise of her being an attractive young woman pays off. That wouldn't have worked as a joke had her name been Mary Simpson. No offense to any Helen Crumps out there. That's not me speaking. Take it from the writer himself. The character's comical name suggests that the writer of the episode, John Whedon, thought of her as little more than a schoolmarm. Gustavo Perez Fermat wrote in his book, A Cuban in Mayberry, looking back at America's hometown. In fact, Helen Crump was intended to be a one-off character planned to only appear in a single episode. That is why they picked an unpleasant-sounding name, trivia hounds have noted. Obviously, she ended up sticking around much longer than that. She was, in fact, Andy's only love interest to span multiple seasons, as the two ended up marrying in the premiere episode of the spinoff Mayberry RFD. What convinced the writers to have Helen Crump stick around after this intended one-off episode? Chemistry. Not the subject from school, romantic chemistry. Andy Griffith simply clicked with her. And had they known, the writers would have come up with a more poetic name. Oh, and on another note about the writer, John Whedon, if I'm pronouncing that right, I'm pretty sure I am. That last name kind of sound familiar to you? Yep. He's the grandfather of Joss Whedon, creator of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and writer-director of Marvel's The Avengers and its sequel, The Avengers Age of Ultron. John's son, Tom, wrote for Captain Kangaroo and The Electric Company. You talk about diversity, man. From Captain Kangaroo to The Avengers. I really enjoyed this one. And your dislike aside for Helen, this was about the name. So anyway, about Beverly Hillbillies Facts and Trivia channel. Have not yet figured out what I'm going to do with it yet. What I think I'm going to do by the end of the week is I'm going to take everyone's recommendations and suggestions and make a poll and see. We'll just go from there, because I want you guys to something for you guys to enjoy as well as the people that's over there as well. And that way we can kind of combine efforts. Keep them recommendations coming. You guys have a great day. Don't forget about classic rock, country music, facts and trivia. Classic TV, facts and trivia. God bless you. As always, like this. And I'll be praying for you.